Hi and welcome back. This is part two where we look at what's going on this coming week. Let's do that. Okay, so key data out this week. Now, there's some GDPs, but just remember the GDP data that's coming out is just the first month of the second quarter. So it's only a preliminary data. It doesn't have that much meaning, and it's quite often revised in month two as well. So when we look at it, before we start on this week's, I just want to sort of remind you, just in case you missed the first part, that Tuesday we are providing a webinar with our friends at Active Trades at 5 p.m. British Summer Time. It's mistakes many traders make and how to correct them. Hopefully I'm going to give you some good trading tips and insight there. So, if you can join us, please do. At the bottom, you'll see the details and the link. Okay, so let's take a look at what's out this week. So in the US, we've got some manufacturing data, retail sales coming out, capacity utilization, industrial production. These are all going to sort of shed some light on business and consumer activity. Now, car sales have been increasing in the US, and as we know, manufacturing just seems to be struggling everywhere at the moment. Whether this is down to sort of high inventory because of all the supply chain issues, or just lower consumer demand, not too sure. Now, the housing data, it is improving, and again, people are just getting sort of more acclimatized to the fact that rates are higher and they're going to stay there. I would say keep an eye on the jobless claims. Just remember that comes out every week, jobless claims. So, I am expecting that to continue to increase. In the UK, we've got employment data. Again, just watch for sort of average earnings because that's an inflationary part of the data. And also, interestingly, Bailey's speaking as well, so the head of the BOE. And of course, he may mention about rates and what's to come. He's certainly going to mention inflation. And then, we obviously have to take it from there. Now, in the EU, we've got industrial production, GDP again, and CPI. So again, a little bit of inflationary and sort of early idea of sort of how industry is doing and how the economy is doing. In Germany, we've got ZEW and PPI as well. So ZEW is sort of investor sentiment. And of course, PPI is going to be some inflation data. So some good stuff coming out. Then if we move on to Canada, we've got CPI and retail sales. So the question there is, are consumers spending with prices so high? Now, Japan, they're going to release PPI, GDP, capacity utilization. Now, with capacity utilization, just remember above 80 shows growth demand. And even if it dips below that, it's not a major concern unless it really gets down to sort of about the 74 level, which really demonstrates contraction. And also industrial production and CPI. In Australia, we're going to have the release of the minutes from RBA's last meeting. Then moving on to China, industrial production, retail sales. Their economy has been struggling, especially with exports and such like. So, as I mentioned earlier, could this lead to them cutting rates or trimming up the triple R? Triple R is the amount that the banks have to hold in reserve. And the house price index, is that improving yet? Finally, New Zealand, PPI and the budget. And below that is that reminder of Tuesday's webinar. Hope you can join. Should be good. So once again, just a reminder of our services. So Apart from this, we provide daily newsletter, global news. We filter that to save you having the trouble of doing that. So that's prepared all for you. And of course, fresh daily chart levels and pivot points. Then if you need to fill in some gaps in your trading skills or your knowledge, your fundamental knowledge, then we've got 1-day workshops to help you with that. Otherwise, maybe you're considering trading, then this will help you to decide. 1 week course, that sort of really takes people from zero to hero. By the end of the week, you feel quite confident using the system, making some analysis, managing risk, etc., etc. It's really good to just build the early starts of those foundations to get your trading career going. And as I always say, if you've got an inner trader, I will find it. Now, if you're really serious about trading becoming your next career, then our accredited masterclass is the one for you. It's designed to provide you with all the knowledge and trading tools that you're going to need to navigate any markets, any market conditions, and of course, more importantly, any asset class. It's really important that you find the asset class that works for you, not just what a broker offers you or what an educator knows about. I've got 50 years in the market, so I've covered all of it. Okay, so trader mentoring, that's, maybe you're struggling to get to that next level. I can help you with that. Consulting, if you need to have some help with hedging FX, commodity exposure, anything at all, then reach out to us. We'll try and help you. Then, of course, we're a major provider of trader education content to individuals, exchanges, and brokers. And of course, if you're struggling, if you haven't got enough funds in these volatile markets, enough capital, and you're getting stopped out too often because of that, then consider that funded trading account. You've got to pass a challenge, but if you do, then you'll get a funded account, and that can be anything from 25k up to $1 million. If you want any details on that, then the link's there. Otherwise, you can reach out at info@cymaxfintech.com. Or if you'd like to ask me any questions, it's chris.tubby@cymax-int.com. Hope to hear from you. And of course, hope to see you at the webinar on Tuesday.